Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where I'm working with you step by step through the ABRSM Theory Grades. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find there some free PDF information sheets, and they are available to download in US letter or A4, and they accompany each step of this series. You'll find a page there with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can also access information about the books that I have available. I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam, and also how to make the best use of your time when you're actually working through your paper on exam day. So if you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find it's all there. If you can give me a like, that would be really super, and please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in store. And now we're going to continue with the 2014 Grade 4 Past Paper C. We'll be moving on to question 4 now, so if you turn with me to page 17, we can have a go of this together. I always suggest that you have a go of this on your own first of all. It doesn't matter if you go wrong, you can always just rub it out and have another go. Just make sure you always work in pencil. I use a mechanical pencil just so it stays sharp, and that way your paper stays neat and tidy. Now I've got some scale questions to be going on with here, and I always find it easiest if I just quickly sketch out the circle of fifths for all my major and minor key signatures, and I do that before I start any other paper. Before I do anything, that's the first job. If you're not sure how to do that, I've provided a video tutorial on the circle of fifths, and you can find the link to that in the cards and also in the description. And if you've done that, all your thinking is already done. You've only got to think of it once rather than keep trying to sort of bring it to mind each time you come to a new question. So let's see what we're asked to do here. We need to write one octave ascending. We're writing the scale of G sharp melodic minor. We don't need a key signature, but we're going to have to just be careful we put in all the accidentals required. We're using semibreve, so we don't need to worry about stems. So G sharp minor is related to B major, and so that would be a key signature of F, C, G, D and A sharp. So we need to bear that in mind to begin with. And then of course the melodic minor will have the raised 6th and 7th on top of that. So before I do anything, I'm just going to get my note heads in the correct place. So I'm just going to get the blobs starting on the second line. Start pretty low so I can get high on going up to the octave without worrying about too many ledger lines. In fact, I don't need any here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's an octave beginning and ending on G. And so now I'm going to pop the key signature in place as accidentals. However, I do know that I'm going to have to change some of these as we get to the 6th and 7th, but it's easy to just do your thinking as you go, then just rub out for those last little amendments. So F sharps, C sharps, G sharps will occur twice because it begins and ends on the G sharp, D sharps and A sharps. And now we need to raise the 6th and the 7th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the 6th, here's the 7th. So the E natural will be raised to a sharp, and then the F sharp will have to be raised again, and so that will become a double sharp. So that's soon sorted. There we go, so that's that one done. Let's move on to this next one. Now we're writing one octave descending, so we're going to go down of this major scale that belongs to this key signature here. Again, we're using semibreves or whole notes. We don't need to worry about stems, and we're starting on the tonic. We'll start high up this time because we need to go low. So here we have a key signature of B, E, A, D, G, and so that is the major key signature of D flat major. So if we start on this D flat above middle C, that should C is about right. So space, line, space, line, space, line. Be careful not to miss a step. Remember, scale literally means step. We want an octave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we've begun and ended on D, or D flat as the case may be. And that's it really, because the key signature does all the rest of the work for us. So that's soon done. Let's turn over and have a look at the next question. So question 5 on page 18. So we need to rewrite this melody, but we need to correctly group or beam the notes to reflect this time signature here. Now this common time, first came across this in grade 1, means 4/4, which means we're counting in crotchet beats. And so for the most part, we need to reflect every crotchet beat in the way that we beam things. And we need to show each new crotchet beat, or each quarter note beat. However, there are a few exceptions to that. If you remember, we can have 4 quavers or eighth notes beamed together, so long as they don't go over the middle part of the bar line. So that's just something to remember. So here we've got 2 quavers, 2 eighth notes that make us a crotchet, so we could beam those together, but then we've got another 2, and so again that just shows us that we can go straight to this half a bar of all those beams together. That will leave these 2 quavers or eighth notes to give us 1 crotchet beat, so we'll be beaming those to reflect beat 3. There's beat 4, there's beat 1, there's beat 2. They'll have to go separately because there's the halfway mark. Beat 1, beat 2. However, beats 3 and 4 can all be beamed together, again because of this little exception to the rule here. So then here we have a dotted crotchet, that's 1.5 beats, and so we have half a beat left to finish beat 2, and that is shown by these 2 semiquavers. 2 semiquavers or 2 16th notes give us 1 eighth note or 1 quaver, and so that half a beat actually belongs to finishing beat 2, so we couldn't beam past that because they belong to this beat 2. And then here we have beat 3, a half a beat and 2 quarters, and then beat 4 is shown separately because that's 3/4 of a beat and 1/4 of a beat. When it's a mixture of quavers and semiquavers, if you remember, we can only beam in crotchet beats. It's only when it's just quavers we can have this sort of half a bar rule. And then finally we have 2 quavers, 2 eighth notes at the end, and they can go together. Again, they show us a crotchet beat. And so now we've done the thinking, and so I'm just going to get all the note heads in place. Just find it easier to sort of get all the nuts and bolts in place before I do any more thinking. That way I know I'm not going to run out of space. I know everything's going to stay neat and tidy, and also if I keep everything aligned to their version, I'm not going to lose track on where I am. I've got enough to be thinking about without losing track of where I am in the music. So I'm just going to get all these note heads in place first of all. And also we may have some decisions to make on whether stems go up and down, because we're going to be grouping things together that might not always seem immediately apparent. So I'm just leaving my brain free to think about each step at a time. However, you can do it in any order you like, whatever works for you. And there we go. So these 4 can all beam together and they're all below the middle line. We're beginning and end, so the stems go up, and then we're beginning and ending on the same note, so that beam will just be straight. We don't need to angle that. And so these 2 show beat 3, and then you can see that we've definitely not gone over the middle part of the bar. Beat 1, beat 2, there's halfway, beat 3, beat 4, and you can see straight away how much easier that is to read. For a performance purpose, that's much easier to see where each beat falls. So here that's on its own. Now we have these two together. There's beat 2 shown. There's our halfway mark, so we've not gone past the halfway point and beamed over that, but now these can all be beamed together, again because of this rule here. We first came across this rule in grade 1, and so all of these, the stems can come down. There's a sort of an overall downwards direction to the pitch, so I'm just going to angle that down slightly. There we go. So here's beat 1, the dot is part of beat 2, and then these two semiquavers or 16th notes give us the remainder of beat 2, and then beat 3 is quaver semi semi, and again all of these stems can come down. Then we have 3/4 of a beat and 1/4 of a beat. These are beat 4. Stems can come down and the general direction is just sloping upwards in pitch. Now here, these two could be beamed together to show beat 1 of this next bar. However, we need to decide which way to put the stems. Now this note here is only one step away from the middle line, which could go either way. However, this one is 4 steps away, so kind of this one needs it most, and so this one outvotes this one, and the stem has to come down. There we go. And I guess the last thing to do is to put the little sign there, and that leads us smoothly to the next part of this question where we're asked to name the ornament. So this ornament in bar 3 is a trill. That means rapidly alternating notes. So there's our trill. There we go. That's the end of that question. We'll look at the last questions in the next video. I do hope that's helpful to you. I hope that you're enjoying it. I certainly am. If you could give me a like, that would be fab. And please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more to come. Please also do browse around my website, go to sharonbill.com and make use of all of the resource and information that's available there to help you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.